What have you tried to overcome your fear of singing? What do you feel when you sing? In this video, I will share about my journey to overcome my fear of singing and show you what I discovered that can help you in your own path. If you are new here, I'm Carla Lima and I share content about overcoming the fear of singing and vocal well being with a holistic view. I am a singer and I also have a background in speech therapy. I invite you to check my artist channel and listen to the music I compose and sing. Before we dive into the content, I would like to mention my online course where you can learn the exercises and routines that helped me open my singing. It might also be helpful for you. The link for the course page is in the description. Now, let's explore today's topic, the collective inhibition regarding singing in public. Have you ever felt criticized when trying to sing in public, perhaps at school or at a party? I have, and over time, I realized that the critical people in general are the ones who didn't have courage to sing and projected their insecurities onto me. But there were also occasions when people praised me, and it gave me confidence. In that time, I was afraid to sing and didn't understand why. But in the opportunities I had courage to try, I realized my potential and also that singing brought me immense joy, although at the same time there was a great deal of resistance. Over the years, I have noticed that there is a lot of shame surrounding singing in public, with bullying of people who dare to sing and don't come out perfectly, and a great fear of singing off key. I realized that this logic reflects a collective blockage to authentic self expression, masked by these ego defenses. This is evident in how people deal with the so called not singing well and the associated idea of passing or failing, being accepted or rejected, present in most auditions and clearly present in the very popular singing competitions. Not reaching an ideal of perfection becomes a personal failure. This collective shame creates a barrier for people to feel free to try to open their voice for fear of making mistakes. But singing is natural for the human body. And if we think about how a baby develops the ability to speak and sing, we see how such a process can be made with ease and joy when you have a safe space and are allowed to just be yourself. Your natural genius can develop. Because of our past experiences and conditioning, we lose access to this natural ease as we internalize the external judgment as self rejection. So, the path for healing in this case is to give ourselves the necessary space to try again without criticism. This will allow the connection with our heart and our sense of wonder. And from this internal place of joy, a beautiful singing can be born. From this place of authenticity, we can also access our full range of emotions. We can feel, for example, our sadness, our anger, and then practice channeling them through sound by creating art or just letting them go. Limitations of traditional singing classes. Have you ever felt judged and inhibited during a singing class because of the teacher's attitude? I have. I tried singing classes a dozen times with teachers from all over the world, and I felt judged every time. This experience reinforced my feelings of inadequacy instead of creating freedom. And I realized how important is an humanized approach in singing training, especially in case of trauma. Throughout the years, I also realized how my blockage to singing were actually caused by neuromuscular patterns and corresponding emotions from my childhood experience, and that they were activated by what was happening in the present moment. So instead of nitpicking about the placement of your tongue or how you are breathing, the first necessary step is to create an environment of safety. This will calm your nervous system and relax your body. And much of the tensions people spend time trying to resolve will naturally go away. I did in practice how to create an environment of safety for singing inside my online course, in case you are interested. I also realized that there are many limiting beliefs in the area of singing, such as that you have to be born with talent to sing well. Then I ask you, what if I was born with talent and traumatic experiences blocked the flow of that talent? Who determines who can and cannot sing? There is also a lot of dogmatism regarding vocal techniques, in addition to the over medicalization of a practice that is natural and human. All of this creates more struggle in the process of opening the voice for singing. When I started to realize what was lacking in singing classes that I felt was important to help me open my singing, I began to create for myself a space that would provide that, especially the feeling of security and the playful spirit. Remember again, how does a baby learn and develop? It is not demanding perfection, it's about of playing and exploring. I also understood the importance of choosing songs that taught my heart to facilitate the flow of my emotions. Then I started to choose songs for my being, not just for my voice type. I synthesized these strategies in a guide to help you organize your singing practice with this approach that you can download from my website. The link is in the description. But if you are ready to go even further and want a practical guide on how to do this work of opening your body for singing, I recommend you consider my online course. If you are not sure, you can definitely start with the practical guide I offer for free and work with yourself. And if it resonates, you might consider enrolling in the online course. It will be such a joy to have you there. Holistic approaches to singing. Have you tried any holistic approaches to singing? What worked and what didn't? I have. At the beginning of my process, I tried singing classes with a holistic and more humanized approach. But in practice, everything seemed too vague to me. They seemed to be the same singing classes, just claiming to be holistic, or the holistic exercises were done out of the context of singing, and I could understand how to apply this to singing in practice. Looking back to my notes from that time, I have to admit that I didn't yet have the physical understanding I have today about what it means to be in contact with your body on a deep level, and that also I had a lot of resistance and fear in the process. Obviously, this also interferes with the result, but that is exactly what we want to master. So we need to start and keep going. I continued researching and then I found body oriented and bioenergetic approaches that were not designed specifically for opening our singing, but effectively provided the necessary tools for opening my singing. I understood that it was about dissipate muscle tensions by reconnecting with the body and practice being in connection with my emotions. With that, a path that made sense opened up for me. The genesis of the fear of singing lies in the resistance to movement caused by an unconscious perception of a threat. The resistance to movement becomes the default, and you no longer recognize the tension as the physical correspondence to the fear. What do you need in this case? Step 1: awareness of this muscular resistance caused by fear. Developing this awareness takes time. I recommend simply continuing to practice singing and noticing how your body reacts, what emotions arise, without judging or trying to fix it. Step 2: go through the long process of dissolving resistance. Practice singing in an emotionally safe environment and by doing conscious body exercises designed to facilitate the free flow of emotions throughout your body, bridging them to your singing. If you try to bypass this process or force quick results, the connection with the body is not created. And that's what many vocal and singing techniques do. They access the body only superficially, focusing only on achieving a visible result. The result with this kind of approach tends to be only temporary because it fails to address the root cause of muscle tension and the real cause of the difficulty to singing. Remember that we also have our own timing as we develop the awareness of what our body really needs. With time in practice, the maturity to recognize the limitations of some techniques in helping you open your singing will arise. But you will also recognize when the limitation is in reality your resistance to the process. The goal is not complaining. The goal is to open your singing voice and choose the best approach for you. Do your research and try what resonates with you. As I mentioned, I developed a free resource to help you organize your singing practice with strategies to overcome the fear of singing. You can download it and start working. The link is in the description. You can also learn the exercises and practices that have worked in my own journey to overcome the fear of singing by enrolling in my online course, Open Your Singing Voice: Practices to Overcome Trauma and Emotional Blocks. I recommend you visit the course page to learn more. And feel free to send me your questions if you have any doubt. The link is also in the description. I would also like to know more about your personal experience. What you have done to overcome your fear of singing? What has worked for you? In your opinion about the points I mentioned in this video. Write down in the comments below, and I would love to read and interact with you. Like this video if it was useful for you and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.